We're here for our collective reading today. And if anybody wants to be able to donate, you can find my Cash App, PayPal, Amazon wishlist, and P.O. Box all in the description box below. I really do appreciate all of you who are here to support me on my path as I'm here to support you on yours. And those are all great ways to be able to give back energetically for the energetic healing sessions that I bring to you guys, along with liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting. All of that stuff really helps me out. So thank you guys for that. So let's get started with the message that our guides have for us today. I really feel like a lot of today is going to focus on coming clean about things that you have felt ashamed of in the past, things that you may have defended to the grave type of things, things that, oh, the song that's coming to mind right now is got a secret, can you keep it? Swear this one you'll save. Better lock it in your pocket, taking this one to the grave. If I told you, then I know you won't share what I've said. 'Cause two can keep a secret if one of them is dead. Hiroshima. So it's time to really start opening up and expressing and exposing some of the shadow parts of yourself. Start thinking about some of the areas where maybe you have judged other people, and start thinking about some of the ways that maybe you may actually relate to that response that that person had. Like myself, I don't even kill the flies that are in my trailer, which sounds ridiculous. I really don't care if anybody takes me seriously or not when it comes to that. But there's really no point in it. I don't mind letting the spiders come and kill them because you know what? They eat them. So I don't mind that. I don't mind if my dog does it because she eats them. But I don't necessarily like killing them for no reason other than they annoy me. That's something that's been more of a recent thing over the last few years. But I will say, I have a dark side playlist. I'll share that later today. When my mom's boyfriend originally was arrested and went to prison, a big part of the reason that he went to prison was because there were some things that were noticed by the counselor at my younger sister's school. And they called her into the office and she had told them what had happened. She wouldn't tell the police when she got down to the police station, but I told them my part of what had happened. And so he went to prison. When I found out that he had hurt her, which had never even crossed my mind that he would have hurt her, she was a lot younger than I was, for one thing. But it never crossed my mind that she was the one who said something and she was the reason why we were down there. When I found out, I like to tell myself a lot that, if I would have known, I would have cut off his dick in his sleep and shoved it down his fucking throat. I don't know if I would have, honestly. But at the same time, that's that shadow side of ourselves that sometimes we're very uncomfortable with and don't necessarily want to look at. Things like that. One of my more favorite songs that's in my dark side playlist is To Catch a Predator by ICP. And if you've never heard that song, basically it's about doing exactly the same thing. Although they're killing them before they get a chance to do anything like that. So really tapping into those sides of ourselves that make us uncomfortable and exploring those things. Admitting those things to ourselves. Seeing those things for what they really are. A part of us that makes us human. And every human has that shadow side within them. Every single one of us. It doesn't matter how good we try to be or appear. It doesn't matter how much we try to tell ourselves that we would never do anything that is so horrible and awful when it comes to judging others. Each of us has human in us. And humans have a shadow side. New doors. Too much time wasted on fear and doubt. Turn that energy inside out. Walk away from what doesn't serve. Go on now, get that nerve. Time to take action for real. Only you can seal the deal. No more crying over the past. Sometimes things aren't meant to last. That's okay, there's something new. If you let it go, it'll open for you. New doors await for your release. Unworthy feelings need to cease. Time to see your worth inside. You deserve someone on your side. Others didn't see you right. Their minds trapped in the night. Rejection is protection, it's true. Because of rejection, you'll find your true crew. Regrets left in the past. You will no longer be left for last. 2/2/22. What this is reminding me of is last night I found out that all of my siblings went down and got a matching tattoo, the semicolon, which is representative of having to struggle with and fight through anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, all of those kinds of things. And my sister was writing about it on her page about how all of them have had to face that throughout their life. And since they figured they would never be able to agree on a tattoo, all of them could agree on that one. All of them except me. Like I'm not a part of their family, like I'm not their sibling, like I haven't been through all of that myself, even if I've chosen not to go to doctors for it. Even if I've chosen to heal those things on my own a lot. Even if I've chosen to be the one to help others in that position after I've been through that and experienced it. For a very long time, I haven't really felt like a part of that family as far as being their sibling. They haven't treated me as one. But to get that stark of a complete realization and look into how little they feel like I am a part of their family really hurt very much. Even if I don't necessarily like to show that to the world outside, I spent a good amount of tears last night cleansing that out of my system and reminding myself that it doesn't matter if they see me that way or not. It doesn't matter if they have that love for me or not. And also, just because they don't doesn't mean I don't. I still have that love for them, but I also cannot carry that around with me forever. The only way to be able to let that go is to be able to see the truth and to allow it to hit, painful or not. It is very hard and very painful when you have those realizations, and when, it's proven that you're not really crazy. It's kind of like about a week and a half ago, my youngest daughter saw that I was messaging somebody, and she's like, "Oh, you're still talking to that person?" And I was like, "Well, which one? I know 3 people by that name." I never did answer her question. And it's because that person is somebody that I had interest in at one point. And every time I have interest in any person, all of a sudden my ex and both my kids start ghosting and breadcrumbing again, start emotionally manipulating the situation again. They start fucking with me again because they don't want me to have anything else in my life or anyone else in my life. And, you can think you're crazy all you like. And you can try to tell yourself that. But when it's proven in such a complete picture right in front of your eyes, that the moment that happens, all of a sudden, I haven't seen them in the last week and a half. I'm supposed to be going to Cherry Fest with them today, which is great. And at the same time, it's bullshit. It's bullshit that every time they think that I have anything going on in my life that makes me feel happy or makes me feel good about myself or anybody that I can connect to, they start pulling that crap because they want me to be isolated and alone, because they don't want me to have anybody else except for them in their lives. And they've learned very well from their dad how to do that. I love how practical and responsible you are, down to earth and humble, never change. Although I wish that you would open up more and close this distance. I wish I could figure out how to do this as well. We could be best friends, but we both have a mile-high wall. Maybe we can take things slow and tear them down brick by brick. We both need to be patient with each other. Know that you are the only person that I'm looking at right now. I might be busy and I might be hard to get to open up and be vulnerable, but I am a very loyal person when I'm with somebody. I only have eyes for one person at a time. I hope this energy is mirrored, because I had cheaters in the past as well. Right now is a time to not allow anyone else to throw you off your path or distract you. to not allow the fears and the illusions and the doubts to take over your mind, to not allow your anger and your hurt and your pain from the past to lash out at the new people coming into your life, which can definitely happen. That's one of those times where you need to look in that mirror and really be honest with yourself about situations where you have done this in your life. You know what? It could very well happen. Honestly, I feel like not worrying about it is what's going to help you the most. And just allowing things to unfold naturally, not being distracted away from what's right in front of you by waiting for somebody that's been gone that long, and just allowing things to play out how they're going to play out is definitely going to be the best way for you to move forward in that situation. It's kind of similar to what we're talking about right here with not allowing all of that stuff from the outside to get in the way of what's going on in front of you. And also really heavily looking in that mirror and understanding some of the things going on within you. Understanding where at times you may have been a little harsh with people, or where at times you may have acted out of fear or negativity instead of what's actually going on in front of you. Sometimes when we deal with people with so many giant red flags that really hurt us very badly and very deeply, it can really cause us to see red flags in every single situation with every single thing that anybody around us is doing. And honestly, when you're seeing red flags everywhere you look, it's time to look inside that mirror and see the red flags that are going on inside of you and what you can do to heal those red flags and turn them into green ones. Wisdom on your wings. The dolphin. Balance, joyful, playful, good instincts, intelligent. You're very protective and also bring life back to anyone stuck in depression. Lucky, self-sacrificing, you make friends very easily and with all types of people. You bring harmony and peace wherever you go. Definitely healers. Pretty much anybody watching these collective readings are healers. And that doesn't mean to say that we don't have things inside of ourselves that need healing at times. That's the biggest reason why we're able to do what we are doing, is because we have had a lot of things within ourselves that we have had to heal. And so we know how to heal a lot of things, which is why others can come to us when they're hurting and when they're going through something, because we are very good at dealing with those things since we've had to deal with those things ourselves throughout our lives. Remember not to sacrifice yourself too much, but also to enjoy life, to get into that playful, joyful, childlike energy again, to really trust in your instincts, in your intuition, and to let go of how hurtful some of the things that you do know are true are to you. Others may have purposefully overburdened you, putting their workload fully on you and refusing to help you so that you would be distracted and you wouldn't have time for your own goals. I went through a lot of that myself. It's actually very reminiscent of the story I was telling at the beginning of this. But also, when it came down to everything that I started working on a few years back, I told my ex and my children that I needed extra help because I was doing everything except for working. The only thing my ex was doing at the time was working. He was supposed to be doing the dishes and the trash. Those were the only things that I asked for help with around the house. And I was lucky if he was doing those things every 2 weeks. And when it came to yard work, I was the only one trying to keep it maintained at all, except for the once every 6 months or so where he would actually come out and help me get it all back under control again. And he went and told his entire family that I never did anything and he was the only one ever doing anything. While at the same time, he was making sure that I was the only one doing anything and not helping out with anything because he didn't want me to be able to continue working on what I was working on. He wanted me to fail at it. Possibly because he never actually went after his dreams and goals, because he let his family convince him that it wasn't possible and what he was working on wasn't good enough and he was never going to make money at it and all that kind of crap. which is really sad because I spent all of my time supporting him and his goals and his dreams, even though they didn't make much money. He could have gotten a job with more money. He had the option between two, and I told him to go for the one with less money because that's the one that would make him happier. And if that's what he wanted to do that, because I didn't care about the money. I cared about what made him happy. And he tried to convince me to go out and get the bare minimum fucking job of minimum wage because I had been a stay-at-home mom for 10 years and even they didn't want to hire me. Instead of telling me that I could accomplish what I was working on and instead of supporting me through it, even after promising me at the beginning of us deciding that I would be the one to stay at home with our kids, he promised that I would be able to do what I wanted to do at the end of that. And he went back on that promise. All he had to do was be supportive, and all he had to do was the same for me as I had done for him. And because of his own fears and insecurities and all that kind of crap, he chose the opposite path. And that destroyed his entire life for him. Even if he wants to blame it on me, he's the one who destroyed everything by having to be in that energy. Thank you very much, beautiful. And yes, that's exactly right. When it's a toxic situation, it is toxic on both sides. That's why when I left my ex, I told him that I know neither one of us wants to have our kids have to have divorced parents like we did. Neither one of us wants our kids to have to go through the pain we did. Neither one of us wants to end this. We both want to be able to fix this. We both want to be able to make everything all right, but all we're doing is making each other completely miserable. We're destroying each other and hurting each other, and all that's doing is destroying our children and hurting our children too. What's best for our children is what's best for us, and what's best for us is to not be together anymore. And that's okay. I was like, and I know neither one of us wants the blame for it, but I don't care. I'm willing to take that blame for it. Although I didn't realize he was going to put every ounce of it on me. And it was really hard to take. And yeah, I lashed out at it. And I exposed everything. And I put all that truth out there for everyone to see. Because I didn't have anything to hide. Somebody else did. He comes out looking like the bigger person because he didn't say nothing other than spreading all the malicious gossip throughout his family and turning everyone against me. Even when it came to my family and telling them the truth about what happened and them all jumping on my bandwagon, which was fucking crazy because they've never fucking believed me about anything in my entire life, and all of a sudden they were. Even then, I defended him because I could understand where he was coming from and why he was behaving the way that he was behaving, which is why my family never turned on him the way that his did on me. Just because somebody's loud and putting it all out there does not mean that they're the ones that's lying. Grape apes and pink panthers. Is that all there is? I still remember this conversation. Me and one of my old friends had this conversation several times. Grape apes and pink panthers. Is that all there is? Some are even a mix of the two. It seems like everyone I meet romantically is either a sneaking, sleuthing detective great at lying and cheating, or a gaslighting shapeshifter bully who's great at acting, lying, and cheating. I remember the good things about them now. I release the past. I have learned a lot, and now it's time for new. Just because you admit that there was good things about the person, just because you admit that you had a massive amount of feelings for them and love for them, and you still do, does not mean that you are saying they never hurt you. That does not mean that they never did anything bad. That doesn't mean that all that crappy shit goes away and never to be seen again. What that means is that you're admitting that they're a human just like you, and they have both their shadow side and their light side. It's all in how our demons play together, on whether or not things are going to work out, because everybody has their demons. It's time for everything to pick up pace. Don't be scared now. It is time and you are ready for it. Hitting it big and there's no stop in sight. You have thrown down your sword and you have picked up your faith. This faith is changing your life. This was the final test. All that you've been waiting for is here. Time to speak your truth fully and share your story. And your story isn't, I'm a victim. Your story is, I was a participant in this situation. I did not always act the best in this situation. Everything wasn't done from integrity. But that's okay, because I'm human too. And as much as I can forgive the other people I dealt with, I can forgive myself as well. And I can choose to see those things so that I don't end up doing them again because I have blinded myself to them. We have the Moon, the Knight of Swords, and the Deck card. All the things that you have been manifesting are getting ready to make an appearance in your life, especially if you have been writing down the things that you're manifesting. It's time to really express your truth and express yourself. To not worry so much about what you're saying or whether or not it's worded right. To not worry about how people are seeing you or what's hidden. To not worry about how disgusting you look from the outside. But to stop judging yourself so harshly and to really open up to the beauty that is you. Because every ounce of you makes up you, including that shadow side that you don't want anybody to see. Listen to your intuition. What is it guiding you to do? What is it guiding you to speak? What is it guiding you to see? What is it guiding you to manifest into your life? Because it may not be everything that you necessarily want, but there may be some manifestations that are a little more important than the things you think that you want. Manifesting the highest good for everyone involved in a situation is the most important part. Not manifesting pain, trauma, hurt, and despair for someone else because you over the way that they hurt you. Because everybody hurts somebody at some point, including ourselves. The shark, the earthworm, and the panther. Shocking realizations are coming. Truths are coming out. Things are being revealed, and it's going to start with you and your truth. As you expose these truths, as you remove these masks, as you really put yourself out there, you're going to start seeing other people being willing to do the same, being willing to follow that example that you're setting, and being willing to expose what's hidden underneath the surface. There could definitely have been some passive-aggressive energies or behaviors going on, some very strong need to preserve and defend the self. And you're healing from this need to fight for people to believe you, this need to fight for defense of yourself, this need to be right. And you're really healing. And as you're healing, you're leaving behind a legacy. Not the legacy that people talk about when they're talking about making millions of dollars and being on every cover of every magazine, but a far more important legacy. A legacy of truth. A legacy of breaking the cycle. A legacy of leaving good soil behind you to bear good fruit. A legacy of being able to be honest with yourself and others. And a legacy of trying to show other people how to do the same. Of leading by example instead of trying to push people to do the things that you want. Doing the things that you feel are right. And if other people want to follow you, then they want to follow you. But if they don't, then they don't. And that's okay too. Everyone has to find their way out of that in their own time and in their own way. Everyone has to find their way through this healing cycle and journey in the ways that they can and in the ways that they know how. And not everybody is going to do it either. But praying for the best for everyone involved, praying for that healing, praying for that light, praying for them to love themselves and see themselves as whole and beautiful, no matter what has happened in the past, is something that's going to help with that. And that doesn't mean that they're not going to face karma for what they've done. Everybody does, including yourself. Everyone faces the things that they've done. And it's hurtful and it's painful. And climbing your way out of it is tough and it's hard. But you're climbing your way out of it because you've chosen to be honest with yourself. And you're showing other people the roadmap of how to get there too, by being honest with themselves. Know your power, the power that you have inside of you. The power that revealing your truth and the true story and the true person behind this mask. That is an amazing power that you have within you to be able to make changes in the world around you. Be motivated and driven. Don't give up. You're definitely a spirited and fiery person. Somebody who has been through a lot, but somebody who could never be torn down or taken down by the outside forces in your life. The only thing that could take you down is you yourself. That's the only thing that can take any person down, is themselves. If you feel like you're the reason somebody else is not living their best life, you're not the reason. They are. But if you feel like somebody else is the reason that you're not living your best life, same thing. The only reason you're not living your best life is you. Has nothing to do with anybody else. It doesn't matter how much abuse you've gone through. It has nothing to do with anyone else except for yourself when you're not living your best life. Because that power is inside of you. So it's time to take that power back and to admit that you are the one that is in control of the actions and choices and decisions you make in your life. What you hold in, what you expose, what you show to the world, what you decide to do with your life, all of those things are in your control and not anyone else's. Sure, there's a lot of obstacles in the way. Sure, there's a lot of things that you have to overcome and go through. Sure, there's a lot of things you have to face, and there's a lot of people who are going to try to get in the way. But overall, at the end of the day, the only person who can do that is you. What's my favorite food? Tacos and spaghetti. My spaghetti. I should be more specific on that. My spaghetti. That sounds a little bit egotistical, I'm sure. But my spaghetti is the spaghetti that I love. And any kind of tacos. It doesn't even matter what kind of tacos. Although I've never really eaten like seafood tacos of any kind. That just does not sound appealing at all. I don't know why. But yeah. That was definitely a good moment for lightening the mood. So, let's see what other messages our guides want to talk about today. Hi, Maple 7. You know, there's a combination. Ooh, that sounds really good. I actually have a video on here somewhere about cooking mushrooms over a campfire. I went and picked mushrooms, I cleaned the mushrooms that somebody else had picked over a weekend at one point with somebody, and we ate a lot of them. That was most of what we ate while I was out there was mushrooms. They were really good, like really good. And then I had a whole bunch of them left over too that I sent home with my kids because it was getting close to Thanksgiving and Christmas, so that they could have them, or so that their grandma could use them in her food and stuff. And what's really funny about that is, you know, we don't talk at all anymore. Not since the day she put her hands on me and then tried to claim that I went over there and beat her up. While I stood there waiting for her to take her hands off of me, which I was so proud of myself for being able to do, because every fiber in my being wanted to beat the living fuck out of her when she dared to lay her fucking hands on me. And I stood there and waited for her to stop because I didn't want to be beating up an old fucking woman, especially one that I loved for so damn long. And still do, even if she's fucking, yeah. I still love her, even if I can't be around her at all. But I stood there and told her exactly how wrong it was for her to do what she did. Because it's never okay to lay your fucking hands on a damn person unless they laid them on you first, period. In self-defense, no problem. And I had every right to put my fucking hands back on her that day, and I still didn't. But that's because I wasn't going to let her turn me into her. Oh, I'm always going through stuff. That's what life is. It's a journey of going through stuff. But thank you very much. I'm not sorry I'm going through any of it. Because without everything that I've been through, I wouldn't be able to be here doing what I'm doing. So I'm very grateful for everything that I go through. There's a combination of rose-colored glasses and shit-colored glasses. Both of those two together is what creates the best vision. Having that happy medium and that balance. Having a good level of healthy optimism, while at the same time being able to look at the world in a realistic way. Do I do any wrestling moves? No, not really. There was one time where my younger brother, we all went to foster care for a little bit when I was younger, and I got a hold of DCFS to let them know that we were being abused in the foster home that we were in. And they decided that they were going to talk to the foster parents and come have me removed the next day and stuck in a group home because my foster parents lied to them and told them that I was sneaking out of the house and doing drugs and sleeping around and all kinds of other crap. So I got put in a group home. While I was gone from that house, my little brother was their son came back because he was gone for the summer and he was about 17. He started beating on my little brother on a regular basis, punching him in the stomach and choking him till he passed out, things like that. When we got back into our house, there was one day where my mom had left and she told me to make sure that my little brother got his room cleaned before he left the house or did anything. And I was trying to tell him he wasn't allowed to leave the house until he got his room cleaned. And I was standing in his way so he couldn't get down the hallway and telling him, hey, you got to get back in your room. You got to clean your room. Mom said you have to clean your room before you leave today. And he jumped up on my back. And at this point, we're in the bathroom. He jumped up on my back and he put me in a chokehold. And I grabbed his arm, put my hands between his arm and my throat. And I dropped down to my knees and I slowly leaned backwards because we're sitting right next to the tub and people have died by being hit by falling onto a tub and shit. So I really carefully did this as well. Somehow I was able to think throughout that mess. And then my little sister had to pry his hands off of me to get him off of me. That's about as close to wrestling moves as I get. Is being able to stop people defensively. They a hoe. Stop trusting hoes to have your highest good in mind. Have your own highest good in mind. Abby Anderson, Make Him Wait is coming to mind. Do what you feel and what you want, but also keep your heart in mind too. If you know that your emotions get connected easily, then there is nothing wrong with that. But don't jump in too quickly either. Watch the actions, not just the words. Read the energy, body movements, and emotional responses for their responses. Check in with your soul, your higher self, and your guides. Think before acting. So, it is definitely not uncommon for people to get very attached when there is sex. It's also not uncommon for people to not get attached when there is sex. So make sure that you are taking care of yourself on that front. Yes, I do. Smoking weed is a natural medicine from our earth, and I really very much so support that. We got into a conversation about that on one of our live sessions a few weeks back, and somebody reported it, and it got taken down, but it actually got put back up after they checked it out, because apparently they didn't find it to be going against their guidelines in any way, but somebody got in an argument with me in the comments because they didn't think that it was a good thing. I figured it was. I figured that's why you were asking, because there's a lot of people that demonize it. And you know what? Demonizing that is what allowed the pharmaceutical company to take control of the world with their fucked up shit that doesn't do any good for anybody. And I'm not saying that there isn't times where medical things are needed or prescriptions are needed, but there is. But at the same time, there's a lot of times when they aren't, and where weed would do a much better job. This is a picture that my daughter drew. You may feel like, okay, the song that just came to mind. Standing on the edge of something much too deep. It's funny how it feels so right. Or it's funny how you feel so much but cannot say a thing. I don't remember the rest of the lyrics. That's all I got right now. But you may feel like you're standing on the edge of something that is just really deep, and it's really hard to take that leap, to take that plunge. But you're being asked to trust. Go at a pace that makes you feel comfortable, because you may be feeling a lot of anxiety coming up right now. And taking that slower pace is going to make you feel a lot more comfortable in the situations that you're coming into. I need to believe in myself again. I need to trust myself and my true powers and skills. I need to express myself again, fearless of others' views or opinions. Trusting your wings to be able to fly when you take that leap. Being able to express the depth of your emotions and not worrying what anybody else thinks about that or how anybody else is going to respond to that. It's not your problem what is going on with other people when it comes to expressing yourself. As an empath, a lot of times it gets very hard to be able to express yourself because you're always worried about what everybody else is going to be feeling. Is this going to hurt them? Is this going to be a painful experience for them? Is this going to be something that's going to scar them or traumatize them? Is this something that has to be done, or can I avoid doing this? Because I don't want to be hurting anybody. But at the end of the day, you're hurting yourself by casting away your own feelings in favor of the feelings of others. And telling yourself that you don't matter as much. Telling yourself that your feelings are not important and are not valid. Instead of telling yourself, hey, these are my feelings. My feelings are important, and my feelings need to be heard, expressed, seen, and felt too. Regardless of how anybody else is going to feel about that. I don't regret my past because it makes my future. That's something I came up with when I was like 15, 16 years old. I don't regret my past because it makes my future. That's why when people apologize about the things that I've been going through and things like that, I am not sorry for any of it. Do you really think I want to be molested again? No. But I wouldn't change it. Did I enjoy it? No. But I am glad it happened. Was I glad it happened when it happened? Hell no. But I learned how to be glad that it happened. Because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have talked to the thousands of people I've talked to since then about their own abuse. And about the ways that I learned to cope with it and get through it and get over it. How I learned how to deal with it. All of those things could not have happened, and I would not be who I am today without that. That is definitely a cornerstone of who I am and how I'm able to be here helping people. Because literally, without that in my life, I would not be me, and I would not be here for you. You are finally releasing the past. Forgiveness and letting go are the true blessings after holding on and drowning in the poison that it created for so long. You are on the right path. Keep going. No turning back now. You will be able to handle the triggers with grace and dignity. You have learned so much, especially in self-love and self-esteem. I keep running across this video lately. I haven't clicked on it or watched it yet, but they're like, watch this, watch this, watch this. It's something about influencers jumping into a vat of poison. And that's what that's reminding me of, because holding on to that pain, that anger, that fear, that hurt, everything that came from those experiences, when we could be letting it go, forgiving ourselves, forgiving others, and allowing it to be a part of ourselves that does not define us, but is a part of who we are and how we got to where we are today, is something that is very important for pulling yourself out of that tub of poison. You can handle anything that's coming your way. And there may be a lot of triggers that you're facing right now for the things that you have gone through. Triggers that you're facing to test your commitment to stay on the path of love and light. Because that's very hard to do when you're triggered. Remember in those hard times to hold your faith close to you. Don't give in to fear and doubt. Know that what you have been promised is the truth. Release timing and how it's going to happen. Surrender with trust. It is time to go with the flow and maintain your peace at all costs. So, it has been a very trying couple weeks on my front and on all the commitment tests that I've been getting coming my way to maintain my peace and my balance and to stay in my highest power and my highest self. There's been a lot throughout my life, and my mom, it's like what is that? The sky is falling. Chicken Little. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. Every time you look around, the sky is falling. Everything's crumbling. The whole world's coming to an end. It's kind of like all those really super religious fanatics that are so stuck on the fact that the whole world's going to hell in a handbasket and everything's ending in fiery flames and it's such an awful, horrible, disgusting world everywhere we look. So much sin and grossness and bleh. Or you can look at it as heaven on earth because there's so many good things, amazing things, wonderful things right in front of their fucking eyes if they could open them. But they're so busy believing that everything is going down instead of everything is going up. Some of my writings did burn in a fire. Odd that you should say that as an example. Some of my writings did burn in a fire. My candle, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, jumped into a giant flame and went down the side of it into my papers with no fucking accelerant whatsoever. I also lost my computer with hundreds and hundreds of poems on there that nobody's ever seen. I have lost my stuff time and time again by being in storage places. And you know what? A lot of my stuff right now is in a storage place. But at the same time, I'm not worried about it anymore. Back then I was. But I got shown several times why I didn't need to be. And I got shown by having it happen. Yes, I do. And there was a lot of spiritual warfare coming my way at that point in time, so I feel like that had a lot to do with it as well. But it wouldn't have been allowed to happen if it wasn't meant to happen either. You really think anybody's earthly powers are anywhere near as strong as the higher powers? No. And they wouldn't be letting anything happen that they didn't feel like was supposed to happen. Just like they could have stepped in and stopped me from being molested, but they didn't. You want to know why? Because I wouldn't be their light worker without that. They've protected me in many ways throughout my life. But like a good parent, you can't protect your children from everything. When you become a helicopter parent, you destroy all of their potential. Oh, yes, and I've lost so many photos with my phones breaking and stuff like that, and it's just, I just don't feel the way that I used to about it anymore. They were very important things to me, but life is far more important than what you're recording of life. Hi, Nevaeh. Nice to see you. Yes, light worker. Somebody here to bring light to people. In the times of darkness, a star in the nighttime sky. Do I feel like I'm some special, only chosen one and there could never be anybody else ever chosen for anything? No. But do I feel like I was chosen for this path? Yes. Just like I feel like everybody here was chosen for a path of their own. And nobody's is less important than anybody else's. Just like every Every creature on this earth has a purpose. Me and my daughter were talking about this recently. She's like, oh yeah? Well, what is flies' purposes besides annoying the crap out of you? Well, flies' purposes are actually to eat the decaying matter of the earth. They're one of the creatures that eats the decaying matter of the earth. Our earth would smell so much worse without flies here. So yes, even flies have a purpose. Wasps are just like bees. They spread the pollen from plant to plant. So people may think they don't have a purpose because they don't create honey. And honey is liquid gold to people. So of course they want to save the bees. But the wasps are doing the same work as the bees. They just don't create honey for people. Yes, well, it's I just kind of threw some paint on there and slapped it together. So, oh, the table. This is what I paint on. That is what I paint on. So, definitely a time of looking in the mirror though, and really starting to see things as they truthfully are. Facing the snake in the mirror. Facing your truest self. And not just the good parts, but all of the parts. Everything that makes you up. And by the way, this looks like a rattlesnake too now because it's got like this rattle coming up here as well. So, definitely paying attention. Paying attention to the warnings you get, your instincts, your intuition. And noticing that some people actually do see those things as evil. But there's a lot of things in this world that people see as evil. It doesn't make it so. Oh no, I didn't get upset with her at all. We ended up Googling it to see what flies' purposes were and to see what wasps' purposes were. I was like, you know what? Honestly, I don't know exactly what the flies' purpose is. I was like, I know that they eat all the nasty old dead things and stuff like that. I was like, but I'm not sure exactly what their purpose is. So we actually sat and looked that up. She got a little frustrated because she thought they didn't have a purpose, and she was trying to prove the point that not everything has a purpose. But I was like, everything does have a purpose. That's the way it works. Rising Up. This poem has been coming across my news feed a lot lately. The last couple days I haven't listened to it yet, but it's been popping up in my video stream on YouTube a lot the last few days. Coming out of darkness. Time to clear away and clean this mess. Standing up to fight this fight, my ancestors fill me with spiritual might. I hear the call to action today, head held high as I turn away. Walking away from those who hurt me, working hard till I am free. Standing my ground and expressing myself, no more time on an invisible shelf. Walking forward, looking back, there is nothing that I lack. Holding my own this time around, my energies I have the power to ground, which is reminding me of what I was talking about earlier about that woman having her hands on me and me standing there waiting for her to let go and then telling her exactly what I thought about it and walking away from the situation instead of beating her fucking ass like every urge in me wanted to be able to do. But there was a part of me that did not want to be able to do that, and that was my higher self. Following that urge, the urge of your higher self. Not allowing other people to turn you into them or to infect your energy with their energy, which is where energy protection and cleansing comes into such importance as well. And if you guys want to be able to find my poems, you can find a link for my other channel, Dee's Storytime, in the description box below as well. And while I'm on the subject, if anybody wants to donate, you can find my Cash App, PayPal, and Amazon wish list in the description box below as well too. Thank you all so much for anything that you do on that front. Exactly. Transmutation. It's just like when people die. Energy never dies. It only transforms, changes shape, takes a new form. That's why after our loved ones are gone, we see so many signs and symbols of them, things that remind us of them because they are still there. That energy is still there. It's just there in a different way. If it wasn't for everything that you went through, You would have never found the passion, motivation, and drive to create everything that you have. I was discussing this with somebody the other day because I was telling them about that friend. I shared his music the other day. And I've been trying to convince him for the last year to share something, but he's not good enough and he's not good enough. And I was like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just put something out there. And he's like, this other guy I was talking to about it, he's like, yeah, people have been trying to convince me to do that for a long time as well. And I was like, yeah. And look at me. 3 years almost of doing what I'm doing, and not one person ever told me to do it. In fact, they all told me not to do it. They told me it would come to nothing, that I wasn't good enough, that I would never be able to do any of this. And because I had to fight against those people, I've been here every day doing it. It's amazing what that opposition does for you. It creates a battle for you to fight and win. Even if you're not competing, even if that's not necessarily the reason, at the end of the day, a lot of the fight that you have comes from having to fight. Yes, it is beautiful and terrifying. You strove to prove yourself, and you did. It's time to forgive and to release the past hurt and the pain. We have all had pain, especially those of us who are super passionate. And it's okay. When you have big emotions, you have big emotions. It's not all good. You have big emotions. That's a wide range and spectrum of emotions. When we see it's up to us to choose to heal, that's our opportunity for growth. They have them too. Everyone could choose to heal at any time. Choose to hope for it. Choose to hope that others will find that light and will decide to do that in their lives too. But when you need to move away from something and cut something off because it's suffocating the life out of you, that's okay too, regardless of whether or not it may hurt other people. Sometimes in order to do the best thing for you, it creates hurt in others. And sometimes when others have to do the best thing for them, it creates hurt in you. So remember that as well. That sometimes we were the toxic one that people were moving away from for that reason. Holding back my tears, squeezing my eyes shut. Ugh, not this again. Go away. I have cried enough lately. Crying never solved any problems anyway. Is this my own voice or the voice of my parents? It's okay that I'm crying. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to grieve a loss. Even if no one else sees it as a loss, it was a loss for me. And I'm allowed to cry. I am going to give myself that needed time for grieving and cleansing. The only way to heal is to allow myself to process and feel everything. So I can do this. It hurts so bad, yes. But at the end of the day, I still have me. So I have to take care of me and give myself the love that I need. This reparenting thing can be very difficult. It can feel like a very slow progress at times, but I know that it's the way to go, and it is working. It's time for me to see and celebrate my own progress throughout this journey. So the songs that came to mind while I was reading that: hurt so good, ah baby, make it hurt so good. Sometimes love don't feel like it should, baby, hurt so good. And then the song, I'll Still Have Me. That song can actually bring a lot of tears to your eyes as well. Because at the end of the day, even if you don't have the people that you love around you, you still have you. And you still have to take care of you. You still have to love you. You still matter. The only way to prove that is to show yourself that you matter by taking care of you and loving you and giving yourself all of the things that you're looking for. Be your own best friend. Besides myself as my best friend, I have my two beautiful little dogs, and I absolutely love those two. They are the best gift that anybody ever could have asked for, honestly. And that's probably one of the things that I am most grateful for in my entire life, has been my two beautiful dogs. I actually have a song about that. It's called I think it's called I Have Two Angels. Yeah. I have two angels, didn't you know? I have two angels wherever I go. I have two angels with 4 legs and fur. I have two angels, I think you'd concur. They really enjoy watching me sing that. They actually generally tend to run over at me and stare at me while I'm doing it. Although in the video, they were not doing that because they were very distracted by the fact that we were outside and they were getting to run around the grass. Calling the light from the dark night. Darkness follows wherever I go, stuck here, going with the flow, trying to manifest the light, tired of fighting this fight, sick of attracting only those to heal. Please send me someone real. No more fakes and phonies for me. Please set me free. Independence comes to me now. After all my hard work, I take a bow. Someone to share with, come to me. No more darkness, please set me free. 2/23/21. So even when it comes to this, a lot of it is within ourselves as well. When all we are seeing is darkness in front of us, that's all we're seeing in front of us. It doesn't matter who comes, we're going to be able to pick up on their darkness. When we're seeing light in front of us, it doesn't matter who pops up in front of us, we're going to be able to see light in some sort of way as well. I was actually watching a movie on YouTube the other night. It was about, which one was it about? It was about a serial killer and his teenage years. Dahmer. My Friend Dahmer is what it's called. And in that movie, watching all the things that he went through, you do kind of develop a hefty level of empathy for him while watching this. And a lot of sadness for him. And a lot of hurt and pain. That doesn't make what he did right. To feel like what he went through was unfair does not make what he did right. But being able to see how a monster can be created is something that's very important. So we don't run around creating monsters, for one thing. But also so we don't allow ourselves to become the monsters who hurt us. We all have a choice in that. He had a choice in it just like anybody else does. Even if it doesn't seem like it, there is a choice to be made when it comes to things like that. And it's all in what we focus on. Arm yourself against a worldly view. What truly feels right to you. In your heart, you will find the answers that you seek in your mind. Don't overthink. Don't give in. Stand strong in the position that you're in. If you have something to say, say it. Don't worry what others think. For some reason, I started thinking about the question about how I would feel if all my writings were destroyed. And you know what? I can write more. There's immeasurable amounts of things that I have inside myself to be able to bring forth and put on a piece of paper. Even if all of them were destroyed tomorrow, I could create new ones. And maybe there was a reason for those ones to be destroyed. Maybe those messages didn't need to be being heard anymore. In fact, if you've been here for a while, you were here when my writings caught on fire. And I actually did find out that a lot of them did not get destroyed, which was really nice. A lot of them have actually gotten water damage too. There's some of them that I've had to try to figure out and piece what was written there and put something there because lines were missing. There's been a lot that I've gone through over the last couple of years, and it's been very hard keeping my writings from getting destroyed. It's happened several times. You're never stuck. Be honest, my dear, what is it you truly fear? Hold your head high and know that you can fly. Take that leap for yourself. Don't rot on the shelf. Follow your heart, passion's true call. Let faith be your guide through it all. You can do this, you know you can. Pack up now and get a plan. Explain from your heart, don't make breakup an art. Tell them there's someone who will feel it too, that someone is just not you. What they truly want is not someone to haunt, but someone who feels the same. Someone where there is a lit up burning flame. 10/5/20. Like we were talking about earlier, every decision you make is not going to be a nice one to everyone around you. Sometimes people are going to get hurt with the decisions that you make and the honesty that you bring to the table. But sometimes they get hurt a whole hell of a lot less by that honesty than they would have by the dishonesty. Sticking around with somebody, I was talking to somebody about this the other day because he was talking about how a trans person he didn't know just randomly got a hold of him and asked him if he wanted a massage, and he's like, no, I don't swing that way. Although she was really cute, I mean, I could maybe, if it wasn't for $100, if it was like for $20 to $40 or something like that, maybe. And I was like, dude, what about your wife? And if you're thinking about sleeping with other people, then you definitely should not be in that relationship. And yeah, that was a harsh truth for them to hear, but they needed to hear it, that it's not okay to be lying to the person that you're with and telling them that you love them when you obviously are not in love with them anymore. When you're constantly talking to another woman because you're feeling bored and you're wanting somebody to come in and make your life better and blah, 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 blah. And no, that's not all the other person. You could be doing something about it too. But I mean, if it's boring, stuck, stagnant, and everything is just awful, and you're feeling depressed all the time, and you're feeling like you don't have a partner and like you want something different, then it's time to tell people the truth, and it's time to take the actions to do what's necessary to create greater happiness, not just in yourself, but in that person too. Because if you're so miserable, what makes you think that that person is happy being around that misery? They're not. And that's how you inspire others as well. Taking the chances and taking action to go after what you desire without any shame or guilt, to go after what makes you passionate, what inspires you, what makes you feel alive. What's the point of living if you're not going to be alive? When you're stuck in this depressed energy, this shame, this guilt, this sadness, this loss, this grief, this despair, it's because you are upset about things in the past. And you can't see that there's a new beginning right in front of you if you would just take those first steps. It takes taking those steps. It takes being honest with yourself and with others. And it takes freeing yourself from the overthinking of your mind and listening to the messages, the signs, the synchronicities that you're receiving. Listening to your intuition and trusting it to lead you. Trusting in yourself and your passions and your emotions to be able to guide you forward. Being patient and trusting in the outcomes. Being observant and noticing and seeing what is causing you to put yourself in this prison. Because it's nothing outside of you. It's all within you. Everything that's going on inside of us is what causes us to act the way that we're acting. It's what causes us to feel the way that we're feeling. And it's what causes the way that we interact with the world around us. So what's going on inside of you that is stopping you from reaching out there and going after what you feel like is the best option or the best path for you? So today is a $10 question session day. So if you want to be able to ask a personal question, then you can send me money through PayPal or Cash App, and I will respond to your questions. Otherwise, I have one session a month, the first week of the month, usually on a Tuesday, where I do one free question for everyone. So you can hit your notification bell and come back then if that's what you're looking for. That session really, it's amazing how much energy it takes out of you being an energy healer and doing a session like that, because it's nonstop questions for about an hour and a half. So that's why it's done once a month. I do like to be able to give to the people who cannot afford it. And at the same time, I can only give so much without having it returned. So I do it once a month, and that is as much as I can handle. So, also realizing how charismatic you are how you're really able to get along with a lot of different people. Being able to put yourself out there and talk to people. Being able to see yourself in a new light. Also being able to regenerate and bring yourself back. You are definitely somebody who has that strength within you to be able to regenerate and bring yourself back. And it's going to require you to go through the fires of transformation, setting yourself free from the past and exposing a new you. And it doesn't mean that you were lying or you were fake before. It just means that people change. Everyone says, oh, nobody ever changes. People can't change. People don't change. Yeah, those are the people that are busy not changing and staying stuck miserable forever because of it. Everyone changes all the time. And if they don't change, then they're getting left behind. So allow the changes that are going on within you to become concrete. Allow yourself to be okay with the fact that you are a new person today than you were 10 years ago. And it's okay that you want different things today than you did 10 years ago. And know that through doing this and allowing yourself that freedom, because some of you may have actually judged people very harshly in the past for, well, this is what you said you wanted. This is where you said you wanted to be. This is everything that you said you needed and would make you happy, and now you're not happy? So you may be telling yourself that as well. But that's okay. It was okay for them and it's okay for you. As long as you're honest about it. It's when you're not honest about it that it causes more pain. It causes more hurt, more hardship for yourself and for others. It causes you to feel trapped. It causes you to feel like there's no escape. It causes you to feel like you have to overthink every single thing you do or say instead of just being able to be you today. So let's see what other messages our guides have for us today. And in between messages, if you guys wanted to be able to donate, you can find my Cash App, PayPal, and Amazon wish list in the description box below. And I truly appreciate anybody and everybody who supports me on my path, as I'm here to support you on yours. Thank you guys so much for that. Whatever way you do that in, whether it be liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, donating, purchasing readings, any of that really does help me out. And all of those are great ways to give back energetically for the energetic healing sessions I bring to you guys. So thank you guys so much for that. And I truly appreciate all of you. Someone may have tried to put their own blame on your doorstep. They couldn't face the mirror or the censure of others. It's kind of like the people I've dealt with that have been homosexual and wanted a beard. Or people who are lazy but didn't want anybody to see them that way. They wanted them to see you that way. The lies will be revealed to others and they will see the truth. This person has a lot of self-hate. It will increase before it gets better. So, this person that you're dealing with, the person that tried to blame you for all of their follies or for all of their mistakes or for anything that they had going on because they didn't want anybody to see their truth, which is why you need to be okay with people seeing your truth and expressing your truth regardless of what anybody thinks about that, because that gets worse and worse and worse until they finally get the hint that the universe is trying to push them into changing. There will be tower after tower after tower that falls down in front of their feet until they get the hint. And eventually, everything is exposed and the truth is always seen, unmasked. Truth in disguise. The lies are in the eyes. In person I'll ask, because eyes you can't mask. Will wait to see, will you set me free? Or will I find more of the kind unfaithfully held to you by my bind? I hope these fears are unfounded, that all rough edges will be rounded. Smooth from the surface things appear. Sometimes that illusion shatters from the rear. 9/15/20. So there's definitely some unmasking going on here. And this could be things that you've avoided seeing yourself for a long time, or these could be things that other people have not seen that are going to be coming out and being exposed. Either way, there's going to be truths being revealed here. Places where you were used as a scapegoat to be used as an excuse for the behaviors of others and the actions of others, the ways they treated you or the ways they didn't treat you, and things like that. Things are being exposed and coming out. The cracks are leaking. I make money quickly and easily. As life flows, I am unaffected by the ebbs. Others are very giving and generous with me without expecting anything. Everything flows through me and all around me. Negative energy is repelled by me. I am very giving with others and generous without expecting anything. When I speak, people listen. When others speak, I listen. My channel is growing every day. People love my videos and share them. More subscribers come in every day. So much ad revenue. My singing is loved. I sing with confidence and with beauty. I am not evil for using my natural gifts. My gifts are beautiful and good. The gifts of others are beautiful and good. Spells flow easily and freely, with no guilt or with no shame. Quitting my bad habits gets easier every day. I don't want them anymore. I only want what is best for me. Someone who wants to go the distance. I want to go the distance. My heart is free from the past. Others' hearts are free from the past. So scripting is definitely something that helps as well with a lot of the things that you are planning and trying to put into action in your life. Everything you write down will come true. There's a song by Moonlight Scorpio. I can't remember which song it is, but she talks about that in that song as well. She has a lot of really good songs, especially for spiritual people. It's hard to find spiritual songs. There's a lot of songs that are Christian religion when it comes to finding songs like that, but it's very hard to find spiritual ones. Moonlight Scorpio is one of the people who does more spiritual songs. And then you got Oshun, who does, Goddess Oshun songs and things like that. And then you got some of them, like I think it's Nako, the medicine man, who does more Native American style type of songs. But what you're looking for, you can find. That was the point of that. And scripting is something that really helps you to be able to bring things to life in your life. When you write them down, it solidifies them. It brings them to life. When you express them and put them out there, it helps you to feel confident in them and feel good about the things that you're speaking into life. And words are so powerful. People don't realize how powerful words are. That's why it's called spelling. And even if you do not practice witchcraft, when you speak, that is a form of a spell. What do you want to be speaking into life? Are you going to speak the negative things about yourself, others, and the world into life? Or are you going to speak the good things about yourself, others, and the world into life? You put out, or you get back what you put out. You are here. X marks the spot. Okay. Strength is yours to harness well. If you believe, you can never fail. You're on your path. Listen now. Ask your heart where and how. All the answers will come to you once you switch to a more peaceful view. So, switching your mindset to a more peaceful view about yourself, others, the world around you. Really being able to see, notice, and appreciate all the beautiful and good things in your life, and the good things that are going on, and the good things that will be coming from the hard work, effort, and time and attention that you're putting into things. Patience, persistence, motivation, and willpower, dedication, and commitment, all of those things are very important things, and all of those things will be rewarded in due time. Even if you don't see the progress initially, It will come. Make sure that you're paying attention to all the little things, all the good things that are happening. Make sure that you're celebrating your victories. Make sure that you're proud of yourself for taking the time out to work on healing. Not everybody is choosing to take that time out to work on healing, but you are here every day doing just that in your life. You should be proud of yourself for that. Everyone needs a break sometimes. Time to rest. So resting is also a very important part of that as well. When we rest and we get the proper sleep, when we get the proper food and nutrition, when we get the proper exercise, when we do the things that are good to take care of ourselves physically, we take care of ourselves mentally as well. The better our physical bodies are doing, the better our mental health is doing. The better our mental health is doing, the better our physical bodies are doing. So doing all the things that are necessary to keep yourself in a healthy mind space is necessary for your physical body as well. Fibromyalgia is a very good example of that. They don't know what causes it. They don't know how to fix it. There is nothing that they can actually do about it. But one thing they do know is about 98% of people who have fibromyalgia have been abused severely in their life in one shape, way, form, or another. And that abuse and that mental trauma and that pain and that agony, all of that is what creates this physical disease. And vice versa. When we are treating our physical bodies in a bad manner, eating the wrong foods all the time, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with having good things in moderation. But moderation is the key. When we start overdoing, abusing, and using those things to cover, bury, or sweep under the rug whatever else we have going on, it builds up inside of our bodies. It creates a lot of pain. It creates a lot of tiredness and fatigue, lack of energy, lack of drive, lack of motivation. It creates burnout. So taking care of yourself is very important. You can't take care of anybody if you don't take care of you. You have dealt with so many injustices, but fear not, you will be vindicated. Everything is coming out. Release the past and surrender to what is. Be okay with the way things are right now in this moment. And be okay with it even if it never comes out. But trust and have faith that it will. Have faith in your God, whoever that God may be, your angels and your ancestors. People's prayers come true every day, and not just people's prayers from one particular religion. People's prayers all over the world from all different religions come true every day. Because at the essence of it, we're all praying to a higher power, regardless of what that higher power is. Some of us just believe in that higher power in a different way than others. There's over 500 active religions in this world right now. 500. And that's just right now. Throughout time, there has been a lot more than that. And everybody always gets in their ego about who's right, and then they fight to the death over it. Instead of realizing that it's all a common thing and we're all looking for that higher power, and realizing that no one person is right. Life's cycles. As you navigate these halls, know your soul truly calls. Know these cycles, you've seen them repeat. As you break them, the chaos will retreat. This is your path, you know it well. Underneath this thinning veil lies your purpose in this life. Don't fall victim to the strife. Rise above and find your peace. You are close to sweet release. Not allowing the energies of others to get inside you and drain you and tear you down. Not allowing the external factors to destroy the peace within. Knowing that you have faced the things that you're facing right now, the triggers we were discussing earlier that are coming up to test your commitment to your path, to your purpose, to your higher self, to being at peace. Those things are going to come along and try to tear you off that path. But you are going to be able to face those things, and you are not going to fall off that path because you know this path very well. You know it like the back of your hand. You know what's coming, you know how to deal with it, you know how to release it, and you know how to be at peace while it's going on. And in doing that, none of it will control you ever again. And you can face anything at that point. Sometimes you have to go through all of these things before you're handed the blessings that are coming into your life so that you can handle all of the not so good things that come with those blessings. It's kind of like when you talk about people having attention on them. When people have attention on them, they don't just have good attention on them. They have bad attention on them too. They don't just have bad attention on them, they have good attention. When it comes to, say, doing something like my purpose here, when you have a lot of attention on you, you have both good and bad attention on you. So you got to be able to handle the negative energy coming your way, because there's going to be a lot of it. But you also got to remember that just because there's negative energy and attention coming your way doesn't mean there isn't positive. Every situation you find yourself in life has both a negative and a positive. And you can choose to focus on the negative or the positive, or a little of the both. But what you choose to focus on is what your life will become. When you choose to focus on this world as an evil, dark, cruel, awful place where you're all alone and there's nobody like you in this whole place, that's what you get. You get isolation, loneliness, heartache, feeling abandoned, feeling like you don't belong, feeling like this is a disgusting, awful, cruel world. When you choose to focus on, hey, there are so many beautiful souls out there just like me. There's so much love and so much kindness, so much awareness and consciousness. There's so much empathy in this world. There are so many good people in this world doing so many good things, and I'm one of them. Now you're seeing the earth around you as the heaven that it can be, depending on the vision that you choose to give your eyes. Your mind, your soul, your heart, what are you feeding it? Are you feeding it positive energy, or are you feeding it negative energy? Which energy are you choosing to eat? Positive energy or negative energy? Because what you're filling yourself with is what you will see in front of you. So that is pretty much what I have for today's messages. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this message today. I truly appreciate all of you who are here listening to me and who support me in whatever ways you do, whether that be liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, donating, checking out my other channel and doing the same. All of those things are greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I hope you guys have a beautiful night or day, whatever it is, wherever you are when you're watching. Bye-bye, guys.